What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Downloadable Brain. I'm your host, Brain44, and this is episode 33 of Downloadable Brain. Today, I'm going to be doing like a movie reactional based podcast. It's going to be something a little bit different from what I normally do. I've done a couple other ones. I did one for the movie They Live, and I did one for the D Train. You can check those podcasts out if you want. But this one's going to be about a movie called Paparazzi. It's about paparazzis who follow around talented people and they disturb their peace and cause problems in their lives. But the paparazzis actually end up getting like really bad karma, and a lot of bad shit happens to every one of them who choose to come against people who have talent. And I'm just going to get into the movie reactional today. All right, the movie starts out with this action hero showing up to his movie premiere. He's in the limo with his wife and kid, and he arrives. When he gets out of the limo, everybody is cheering for him, and they're going crazy. They're taking pictures. He answers a few questions, signs an autograph. He seems to be enjoying the attention that he's getting, and he's taking in the spotlight. A guy says to him, "Congratulations, your fans are all waiting for you." He says, "Thanks, man. This whole thing is all new to me." But he's happy. He's excited for his success as an upcoming action movie star. And he's standing there letting people take pictures of him, but he's not smiling and enjoying it as much anymore. Now he's just like, shit, this is irritating, is the vibe that I'm getting. He's not liking all the flashes from so many cameras taking pictures of him. So he covers his eyes with his hand, and you can see his wedding ring. Hey, at least even if the job comes with some stress, at least you got a good woman by your side and a kid that he loves and appreciates, right? Me personally, I'm a simple guy. You give me a cat and I'm as happy as a pig in shit. But, you know, women are great too, and I like the idea of someday becoming a father. Anyways, it cuts to the next scene. He's out for a jog on the beach. Seems like a nice area, and he's just thinking out loud saying, "Wow, 6 months ago I was nothing. Now I'm the guy." He says it's not even reality though. He says, "I hear that there's some primitive tribes who say every time somebody takes a picture of you, you lose a part of your soul. After last night, it's no wonder I even have any left." Then he says, "Hold that thought," and 5 hot chicks run by him on the beach. And he looks back with a smile, continuing on his jog, thinking, wow, that never happened to me in high school. It's an illusion. It's not real. And he says, life is good. I guess I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing until somebody finds out I don't know what I'm doing. That sounds like a plan. Then it cuts to some pretty awesome indie rock. I like the guitar work myself, and the vocals are pretty good. Shows him cruising in his nice ride to some random area in California, from what it looks like to me. He gets home greeting his son. His son jokes about the wife saying, "Daddy doesn't want to get fat." Then he sees his wife and she says to him, "Is this really our house? I can't believe it." He says, "Yeah, it's really ours. We don't want to get too fat though." And he jokes about going to get some muffins. The wife jokes to his kid, "Did you give our secret away? I should probably actually go for a run myself, you know, but I hate muffins. I do have some work to do on my physique, but it doesn't matter. Anyways, let's rock." Okay, fast forward to the next scene. I guess he legitimately did want some muffins. He walks into the store with his kid, greets the worker at the store. She says to him, "Hey, I saw your picture on a billboard for the latest movie." She smiles at him while giving off an impressive tone. He says, "Yeah, I know, it's wild, right?" He says, "Give me some blueberry muffins and a couple coffees." I get it, my dude. I'm a sucker for a good coffee myself. But even if I'm fat, you know, I probably just naturally hate muffins. Enough about me. Then another customer says to him, "Excuse me, are you Bo Laramie?" He says, "Yeah, what's your name?" The girl starts laughing giddily and somewhat nervously, but just acting like somebody who's starstruck and overly impressed by his fame. She's laughing and smiling at him. The girl who serves him his coffee and muffins is laughing and smiling. Evidently, it's good to be Bo Laramie. Hell, I want to be the guy. I'm jealous. Then the customer says to him, "Can I get an autograph?" handing him a magazine. He says, yeah, where do you want me to sign it? She says, right across your crotch would be great. Then he looks at the magazine cover with a picture of him saying, Laramie naked. And it's got a picture of the guy buck naked making out with his wife, who is also totally naked, which they had to censor out in the magazine cover because, I mean, apparently there are guidelines, but these people clearly have no boundaries. It's also got a picture of his kid next to that picture, and it's a picture of his kid with a backpack walking out of school. The title saying, Zach Laramie is disgusted with parents at the poolside picture. And you can clearly see the people involved in this press, or whatever you want to call this. They're just coming for everything in this guy's life. His personal life, they're invading his privacy. They're creating obvious smear campaigns to get attention, and even involving like people in his family. This is such a shit show and a circus that if it were me and I had the resources, I would become so happy towards the magazine. But maybe when people reach that sort of success, some do choose to become so happy, while the majority of them just become comfortable allowing it to happen, I suppose. Because it does happen sometimes, but you don't ever hear about it too much. Anyway, I'm sensing if success, fortune, and fame already comes with that many problems, things are either going to get really bad for Bo Laramie, or the so-called people who are causing him problems are going to get something bad happen to them. But who knows? Let's continue. He seems pissed, but just thanks the girl who served him for his coffee and muffins. Then he walks out, and immediately you notice a dude who looks like that character from the movie The Big Lebowski, you know, the lazy bum who never does anything, which was a movie just about a guy who refuses to work or develop a talent or skill, and he was just lazy. I suspect the character who looks like The Big Lebowski is following around Bo Laramie due to his recognition for whatever reason, most likely trying to butt his nose into his personal business so that he can somehow capitalize off it. Hey, I've been called lazy by people before, but I've always been like the hardest worker in any job I've ever had. And regarding my music projects, I was always the last person to ever leave. Anyways, let's continue. The next scene, he's driving in a car with his wife, and she says to him, we're really naked on this magazine cover. Can they do this? And he says to her with a disgusted look, yeah, they have. She says, how dare they put our son on the cover of a magazine? And I gotta say, I agree with that assessment. I think the people who run the magazine are spineless, talentless cowards who are just looking for ways to create problems, even if there was no problem. And they don't deserve a job for that. But maybe they can get together with that Big Lebowski-looking character who strikes me as a stalker, and they can all be lazy and talentless people who are uncreative together. Maybe they already do. I don't know. Maybe it's a collaboration between like a lack of talent and skill. Let me know how you rock. At least he's driving his kid to a soccer game. It's good to enjoy family time together without people messing with you all the time. At least you have your private time with people who you love, right? Well, we thought that until this shady-looking character who looks like he came out of a 1980s movie selling door-to-door typewriters shows up out of nowhere. And he's taking photos of Bo and his son at the soccer game. You can clearly see Bo Laramie is pissed. So he walks up to the typewriter salesman from 1980, and he's ready to engage in a little convo with him. Typewriter salesman says with a smile on his face, hey, how you doing, Bo? And he's smiling, he's taking pictures. Evidently, he's the neighborhood hype man or hype woman. I mean, flip it where it needs to go, but a real man wouldn't do that shit. Probably not much better if a woman would do it either. He says, what are you doing? Typewriter salesman says with a condescending smile on his face, oh, I'm just getting ready to watch the soccer game. Bo says, you want to take a few shots of me? I'm right here. You have no right taking pictures of my son. I do agree with this, but in my honest opinion, he doesn't even have the right to take a picture of Bo. So, Bo is a famous actor, right? He did not consent to have you there taking pictures of him, so you shouldn't be there. You don't deserve to, and there should even be like laws set in motion to prohibit it from happening. That's just my honest opinion. But it's a good thing I'm not famous, y'all, because if a person ever came around my area taking pictures of me or just following me around, that's stalking. And they could potentially like end up in jail for that if you had a way of proving it. And you might not have the funds to sue them for it, but if you're targeting like a high profile person, you're fucked. That's just something to keep in mind. But typewriter salesman says to him confidently, Mr. Laramie, I have every right to take pictures of whoever I want. It's like, damn, this prick is entitled and arrogant. Bo says, hold on, shaking his head, agreeing to disagree. He says, not without my consent, you don't, all right? Well, I just said that, and I didn't even know what the guy was going to say yet until he said it in the movie. So it's clearly obvious this type of behavior is inappropriate. But anyways, he says it's a security risk. And I'm asking you nicely, please don't take pictures of my son. He says, okay, you got it, Bo. I understand. Sure thing, famous guy. And then he walks away. Bo's giving him this look like Jeffrey Dahmer just showed up to a peace advocation ceremony or something. Because, this dude is foul and, the situation is really messed up. But yet it's still socially acceptable in 2025, or in this case 2004, when the movie was made. We're going to ask reality if we're living inside of a simulation at this point. But hey, y'all, don't take it too seriously. It's just a movie, all right? If any of that shit was going down in real life, I don't know. I know it happens to celebrities, but everybody knows what is right and what is wrong. Just not everybody chooses to live by what they know is right and live by what they know is wrong. And even if they know it's wrong, they do shit anyways. Because clearly what the 1980s typewriter salesman is doing is wrong. Hopefully Bo gets to enjoy the soccer game with his son. No more interruptions. He watches the game with his wife and everybody's enjoying themselves, having a good time. His son finishes up the game, goes up to his father to give him a hug. Bo says, good job, buddy. Enjoying the moment with his son and wife by his side. Then you see that creepy little bastard snapping snapshots of him again. Right when he hugs his son and he's there with his wife. And I'm really uncomfortable seeing that. I don't like this at all. I don't like the energy. He's stalking him, and somebody should give that guy like an ass whooping. Give him like a Japanese police officer patrolling the streets of Japan or something type whooping, because in Japan, you would not even be able to stalk people. I can guarantee it. They have officers who patrol the streets, like just to keep people in line even. And when I was visiting there, I never once saw anybody act shady or step out of line. But Bo sees this creepy bastard, and he's getting ready to confront him. I know it ain't going to be pretty like an epic hair gel on a beautifully tanned pretty boy rocking a morning show with a dinosaur Goldilocks. No, 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 no. There's an element of surprise to this invasion of privacy and boundaries, right? It's unethical. And Bo is getting ready to turn up. He confronts him again. The cocky prick says, the kid takes a nice picture, but it doesn't measure up to those sexy shots I got of you and your wife naked by the pool. Bo says, oh yeah? And then he punches him in the face. I don't care how flawless your hair looks with that hair gel. I don't care how good your spray tan is, or how sexy your sidekick Goldilocks looks when you like to rock around the clock. You're stepping out of line, and you deserve judgment for it. So he got punched in the face, and he deserves it. Now everybody's standing around seeing the movie star just punched him. The camera guy goes down. Then he smiles, and he's like, oh, you gonna pay now. You gonna pay. The dude almost literally looks to me like he's retarded, and he doesn't sound too intelligent either. It goes harder than having like a demonic attachment, because he's not even slow. Like, he's just very unintelligent and unskilled. So he needs to attach himself to somebody who's better, I guess. I don't know. Then he opens up the sliding van doors behind him where he just got punched out in front of everybody. And there's like 4 other guys with cameras all taking pictures of him who were just camping out inside of the van. And he's now realizing these assholes set up an entire situation. Even though he did nothing to them, he didn't know who they were and didn't even know what was going on. They just knew him and they felt like they can do anything they want to do. Camera guy on the far right is the same one who looked like that Big Lebowski looking character from the market where he was picking up his coffee and muffins. So that's confirmation that he's been following him around. And he's acting like an arrogant bully and a jerk and a little bitch. I hate this. These dudes are so useless. It's a mystery to science why tornadoes don't just take people like that off of the face of the earth. The camera crew are all taking shots, and the typewriter guy with Down syndrome says, "Hey, Bo, hey, big shot, enjoy what's left of your weekend." And Bo gives him this sort of look as if to say, "Oh, you really went there with me, huh?" It's not a look of like being nice anymore, because Bo was cool with him at first, and he was even respectful towards him. He was tolerant, and he was willing to even compromise his sense of security in order to meet the camera guy's needs. Now he's just giving him this look like cold as ice. Bo is way beyond the point of being angry now. Bo is just determined to, I don't know, he's determined to continue on, but they've done way too much to provoke Bo already and disturb his peace. When you do that to a man, just be very skeptical of the clapback, because disturbing a man's peace is the most dangerous thing a person can ever do to that man. Once you push him to a certain point, he no longer explains himself. Now he's just determined. He's unbreakable because you already tried to break him, or you may have broken him before. But now he's coming back hard, and it will be unlikely what you expected when you felt entitled to destroy his hard work and success. It ain't going to be good for the stalkers, to say the least. Weirdo says to his crew, "Let's go make some money," and it cuts to the next scene. I mean, I get it. Everybody needs to earn money, right? But just don't be a lazy bitch about it, and don't feel like you're entitled to destroy people in order to make money at their expense. Try developing a talent or skill so that one day you can potentially work with somebody or even a company like who wants to invest in you. Anyways, it cuts to the next scene, and it shows that clown who set up Bo watching television inside of his boat home. It looks like he's renting out a boat, and he's parked a boat inside one of those boating docks. Like, as the television is on, a news anchor is saying Bo was arrested and released from jail, ordered to pay a $500,000 fine as well as get anger management. The victim, 34-year-old Rex Harper, is also demanding a public apology. Okay, well, I mean, in my opinion, this asshat had no business at all invading Bo Larrabee's personal space and privacy. All you're doing is causing problems for the talent, and you ain't shit yourself, right? That's why you got to do that. He's doing the most to disturb his peace. I guess it's up to the law to decide what's right, but it seems that they kind of went the other way on that one, and they chose to side with the man who was stalking the talent and causing problems for him. So we can clearly see like what the problem is, and it's definitely not the talent. And one thing he says is, "This guy's not going to get an apology from me. He's nothing but a parasite, and if he knows what's good for him, he will stay away from me." The retard in his boat, obsessively watching Bo on his television, says, "Hey, I got your parasite right here," and he's shooting up the middle finger at the television screen. Wow. Wow, everybody. Put the boat skipper in El Salvador or something, because doing this kind of shit, man, like, you deserve a nasty ending, to say the least, doing that shit to people. And you're a piece of shit. I can't imagine, like, any sane or civil person supporting that type of behavior. Boats are too good for them. Guys like that should be homeless without money or resources. And let the people with talent do the work and live their own lives, not that they needed permission from our lovely skipper. Maybe you'll find like a romantic date with a street woman or a man, depending on what your sexual preference is. I'm not here to judge, like, whatever your preference is. Then he's typing away at his computer like a little hermit crab, and he says to himself, "Laramie, I'm going to destroy your entire life, and I can't wait to do it." I mean, as if all the shit you have already done gives you the right to be mad at the talent for all the things you've done to just cause problems for him. But let's continue. Now, he's in anger management, and the girl who's giving him therapy tells him he's lucky. He says, well, I disagree. And I'm not going to change who I am or how I feel in order to fit your needs, because I've done everything my own way to get where I am today. And you know what? I totally feel the same way regarding what I do with music and just putting myself out there on social media. I never sold out, and I don't plan on it. I never screwed anybody over. I was just comfortable being myself and doing my own thing. I'm not going to change just because people expect me to give in to them to make them comfortable. It's not my problem. I am where I am because I did the work, and nobody is entitled to anything from me. That's that. Somebody alert South Park and he can potentially board that boat ride. I'm not having it now. The therapist says to him, I'm going to continue to work with you and give you the tools that you need in order to suit your life. He looks pissed off with an expression as if to say, I don't want this and I don't need you in my life. So he says to her, all right, is that it? Because you can clearly see, even though the guy doesn't want to argue with her, he just knows like she shouldn't even be involved with his life to begin with, because he doesn't want her around, and because she's not helping him, he doesn't need her. She says to him, if you have a problem, I want you to call me. Gives him this card and it says PhD on it. But she's already so unwanted by him and so irrelevant in his life already that I think the PhD is like a dishonor to people who actually get into that sort of field with the intention of helping those out who seek out help. Hell, I can even print my own business cards these days. I will give you one that says, spiritual advisor, self-made solo artist, I never sold out. And you can tell all your friends I'm not a sellout, and nobody is entitled to shit from me. The only thing they gotta swap now is who can be the most useless and untalented and irrelevant parasite of my life. Or in this case, Bo's life, right? She says, I'll see you next week, with that stupid look on her face, but if I had my way, I'd just never see her again because she's irritating me and she's very bothersome. Now, in the next scene, we're rocking the strip bar with this creepy 1980s typewriter guy again. The girls look great, but then creepy typewriter shows up with his stupid face, and it just ruins my entire mood. There's a sort of cheesy-ass DJ beat with a metal guitar rocking, and I like the guitar riff on loop. The riff is good, but I don't want to assess the musical composition because we're not here to critic their playlist. It shows an English dude hitting on this hot chick at the bar. He says a stupid line, and she tells him to go away. But then creepy typewriter is eyeing her up, looking his best in a dress shirt. He seems confident, and we're just going to pretend like he doesn't stalk talent as well as pick through people's garbage. Because in the last scene, which I didn't really discuss, creepy typewriter was picking through Bo's garbage. It just wasn't that important to discuss. What concerns me now is that if the hot chick goes along with anything this douche has to say, she's very easily manipulated and way too good looking to fall for a creepy typewriter. But let's see what happens. Apparently he's there with his entire crew of stalkers, and there's like 4 of them. They are discussing the shady shit they do to people over a round of beers. And the English fellow who just got turned down by that hot chick is amongst the guys in the group. They are drinking their beers because alcohol dependency is cool and trendy in 2025, y'all. And the Big Lebowski is with them, of course, since he's a bum. One of the guys says, we're the last of the hunters, my friend. And they all act like they're super proud of each other for doing something good when they're clearly idiots with a lot of problems who cause people problems. But anyways, they cheers to a round of beers, and one of the guys in the group brags about camping out inside of a tree for 3 nights to stalk the talent and get pictures of him or something. I don't know. I stopped listening because I feel like the only thing that needs to be hunted are people like this who cause problems for people who are actually working on themselves or doing something good. But by all means, if you're an exterminator who wants to roll out, it would be an honorable contribution towards science to exterminate these people. Creepy typewriter says to the Englishman, how did it go? Englishman says, she was a lesbian. He says, "Oh, really? Let me take a second opinion on that." And he seems really confident, but confident in what, you scrub? Dress shirt or not, you're a garbage picking stalker, and people like you suck ass. Big Lebowski is also laughing as he drinks his beer because all he knows how to do is get drunk and be a lazy bum, right? He's a cute little bitch, though. A useless, bum-ass, cute little bitch. Not a single ounce of talent in him, so it's good that he can at least clean out the bar, right? Nice bandana, you tool. Creepy typewriter walks up to the hottie and says, "Hey, can I get you another round?" Wearing his sunglasses at night because he's slick like that, she says to him, "I guess you can afford it." He says, "Well, what's that supposed to mean?" She says, "You think I wouldn't recognize the guy who siphoned all that money out of Bo Laramie?" She says to him, "Your pictures hurt people." He goes on trying to justify the things he does to make money, but I'm just so disgusted by people like this that it's not even registering for me. Hottie is still giving him the chance to explain himself, but it is what it is. He invites her to go somewhere. I don't think she should go anywhere with him, but we'll see what happens. Cut to the next scene. Bo's at this party with his wife. The creepy English dude who wasn't good enough to land that chick from the bar walks up to Bo and says, "Hey, mate, you remember me from this one place? You were with that one girl. She was a cute lad. She was a cute girl sitting in your lap doing so-and-so." But he's just saying that intentionally while Bo's wife is there to create a situation and cause drama in their lives. Wow, so you've got this little network of creepy motherfuckers who like to get together to bother people and stalk them and invade their personal privacy and disturb their peace. Wow. Somebody ought to design an app to hunt people down like that for sport or something, because this shit is vile on so many different levels, but if the law doesn't prevent it, how do you stop it from happening, right? I wouldn't want to be a celebrity, but sometimes you hear about it happening to others who are not even famous. You never really know. I know as a guy myself who just does music and podcasts, I don't try to be famous, and that's not my intention. I don't screw people over for a level up, though. Nobody can claim what's mine, and I don't owe anybody shit, but if I could design an app to hunt down creepy motherfuckers who stalk people and make it into a sport, I would totally make that app, so at least if the law doesn't provide justice, somebody else would. I don't know. He shoves the English guy saying, "Get out of here." He goes up to creepy typewriter and says to him, "There's no way the little missus didn't buy that." Creepy typewriter seems satisfied now that he's caused a million different problems for this person who he was stalking and he follows around everywhere. And he's with this little group of losers who do this sort of thing on a regular basis. I don't like it and I want my justice, but let's see what happens. He's fighting with the wife in their car on the way home because now the stalker crew created a gigantic, dramatic situation for the talent and his wife. And he's got to explain himself for being stalked and harassed by idiots who don't possess a talent or skill, and they just create false narratives. Well, I'm glad I'm not him, but man, it's feeling like somebody just designed an app already for crocodile hunters so that we can hunt down people who stalk others that are talented for a sport. You can make it a competition or something. I don't know. Let me know how you rock. They would totally deserve it for choosing to stalk people. And now shit's hitting the fan. And while Bo's riding off in the car with his wife, the creepy fuckers clearly didn't do enough. They felt like they haven't done enough to disturb this man's entire life, and they wouldn't give him privacy. So they roll up with two cars surrounding him on both sides and snap a bunch of pictures with the bright lights disrupting his driving skills. His son's in the back seat. He gets distracted and a car smashes into their car. The four losers get out of their cars to take a look at the wreckage to see what just happened. I mean, they look concerned, but how can you do all of that shit and pretend like you have empathy at this point in the game, right? Then my suspicions are correct. Not only do they have no empathy at all for what they've done, They feel as if they've done nothing wrong because people like this don't ever take accountability for their bad behavior. Then they all go back to their cars to grab their photography gear and start shooting photos of the wreckage. So everything you fucks ever did to disturb this man's peace, to cause problems for him, you capitalize off of causing him problems and you make money off of it. And we know that you feel like you've done nothing wrong. Not that I give a fuck because you are what you are, but I want my damn Crocodile Hunter app. I'm hungry. Because fucks like this just deserve to get it in the worst way. But never mind saying you would send people like this to hell because they're already there. An English lad calls in the accident, but they all get up close to take shots of them inside of the wrecked up car. Bo is tweaking, but he looks like he's going to be okay even though he's messed up. Creepy typewriter leans through the broken car window to get a close-up of the accident. The accident that he just caused from stalking this man and his entire family. Since the son of a bitch and his bastard butt boys always felt like they can never stop bothering him, even after they successfully get away with doing everything they've done to cause injustices. How is it possible, science? They really do exist. They really do stalk people and cause all these problems for them, and it's a mystery to the universe why science allows it. And never mind the law anymore, since they probably already know. I just want my Crocodile Hunter app so that everybody can hunt down people who stalk people for a competitive sport. It would be a fun game to play, right? Totally not a stupid game, because science has just defied itself entirely by even allowing people like that to exist in life. Yet somehow, in some way, they do. They're getting ready to leave, then creepy typewriter gets one last snapshot of Bo inside of the wrecked up car. Like he potentially could either have Down syndrome or some sort of demonic attachment, I guess. The scene goes hard though, because even though Bo is tweaking out and he's not looking so good, he opens up his eyes to get a good look at this stupid idiot in a pinstripe shirt. And he's tweaking, but somehow, even though he's tweaking, he's still outshining that creepy typewriter with Down syndrome, even at his worst. And now he's aware of his presence. Damn, I don't think Bo is ever going to forgive you for that. I'm sure Pinstripe, the creepy typewriter, doesn't care, but if karma strikes, we already know people like this don't feel remorse or develop a guilty conscience for doing shit. They would probably just give off fake-ass apologies or stage remorse in order to avoid the karma of legitimately, intentionally stalking a person to destroy their life, and feeling like it's all acceptable to do it. Right to the point where karma gets that ass, but we already know Bo is not going to forgive. And Bo isn't hurt, but when he visits his son, he's going over that creepy fucker turning up to cause the accident in the first place. And now that last snapshot the bitch took of him while he was tweaking just haunts him inside of his mind. He cries a little bit for his son because he knows that it's a bad situation, and he comes to terms with everything this asshole has done to create problems in his life. But this isn't the type of pain to just destroy a man. It's the type of pain that changes him. And that kind of pain, ladies and gentlemen, is not the pain anybody who comes against somebody like Bo would ever want to experience. And they would never want to meet the man who reinvents himself after they cause him that situation, because you played a role in creating this type of man who would not only never forgive you for what you have done, karma would be absolutely deadly. And you can't even apologize for something like that, even if you tried. It shoots to the next scene of Bo sitting in his house, and he's just going over it a few times in his mind. That last snapshot where a creepy typewriter really revealed himself. He sees him and he knows, and he can't forget about it. I'm not sure how this is going to play out from this point going forward. I know the guy who did all this to him really fucked up badly, though. Let's see what happens. A little later on in the movie, Bo is driving somewhere and he stops off suddenly to make a phone call. Then he writes something down on a notepad and starts the car, getting ready to leave. A dude on his Harley comes out of nowhere and nearly smashes into his car, but he just swerves out of the way and wipes out. And Bo gets out of the car immediately to check on him, making sure he's okay. He's screaming out, "Help! My God, please help me!" And he goes up to him while this dude is literally dangling on the edge of a cliff. It's looking bad. Bo extends his hand to pull him back up from the cliff, and he's dangling on the edge of it. And he says to Bo, "You think it was bad before? I'm going to own you now, Slick." So he's realizing now it's actually Big Lebowski, that bum who's been stalking him, following him around everywhere and causing problems. So he says to him, "What did you just say?" Then he recalls the wreck from that accident and all the guys who showed up there to stalk him, with the Big Lebowski being one of them. They were stalking him on a regular basis. Now he realizes this was a key player. So he's holding his hand. He wants to save him. But now I'm thinking he has a change of heart and he's thinking, wow, you did this and you even followed me here. And then he just processes that and takes in the experience. And instead of pulling him up to save his life, he instead lets go of his stalker's hand. And the stalker falls off of the cliff. Holy shit, fellas. Holy shit. I mean, I now know people do crazy things. I'm not saying to take advice from this movie. I'm a nonviolent man and do not believe in committing crimes. But damn, he wanted to originally save him. And I think the attitude shifted from him, okay? He wanted to help this person originally. And then he changed his mind, saying, I'm not going to literally push him off the cliff, but I don't have to save him either. Then he lets go and the stalker just falls off the cliff. I have a question for you guys. If somebody did this to you, would you pull them up to save their life or let karma naturally take its course? I don't want to personally get involved and give the answer I'm thinking, but I'm curious to know from my viewers what they would have done if they were in that situation and they were being stalked. And they were the deciding factor on whether or not a stalker who could have potentially ended their life would be worth saving. I'm not going to give my answer out loud for what I think, but let me know what you guys think personally, ladies and gentlemen. And as Bo is driving off, you can see he's very troubled. But it's like I said before, this is not the kind of pain that destroys a man. This is the kind of pain that changes him. And you can sense from his behavior now that he's not feeling remorseful or guilty or even sadness to discover the ending of one of his stalkers. He's just going through it. He's going through a difficult time. And Bo did not personally push his stalker off of the cliff, right? He just didn't save his life. And the nerve of this stalker was so strong that even when he did originally extend his hand to pull that stalker back up, his stalker was so cocky and arrogant about the situation that he said to him, I'm going to own you now, Slick. So no wonder why the guy doesn't have any sympathy for the person who was actually stalking him, causing him problems. Now he's in anger management with the lovely woman who has a PhD. Impressive, in my opinion. And he says to her, I'm finally getting my anger issues under control. She says, oh, that's a lot of progress you've made. And he says to her, yeah, well, I can't let the fact that 4 paparazzis nearly killed me affect my behavior now, can I? And once again, ladies and gentlemen, it's not the type of pain that destroys a man. It's the type of pain that changes him. He's endured everything. He's went through it. Now he's different, and you'll never meet that old version of him again because you're meeting somebody completely different. Bo says, I feel cheated, angry, blessed, all at the same time. My problems already have faces, doctor. She says to him, well, you're heading in the right direction. Let this journal become a sanctuary for you, Bo. All my clients have had great success with it. And he just kind of looks at her like, what the fuck? He sort of laughs, but he remains calm and collective about it. I feel like he's really holding back his true opinion regarding this girl, this doctor. I've had certain people in my life before tell me to start journaling, like whenever I felt I needed some sort of help. And you know what I realized? The only person who can help you is yourself. And I don't care if somebody has a fancy PhD. I don't care what title they hold. If you're there to help a person in their lives and you're doing the opposite, You're having the opposite effect of healing them when you're there to heal them. You have no fucking business even exchanging words with that individual, because it's just wasted time for both the help and the person seeking out help. For me, I don't write shit down, and I don't hurt people, and I don't plot against people. I don't sincerely wish anybody bad, but I do have a way of channeling my anger or emotions through something like music or even doing a podcast like this. When I feel the need to let it out or let go of something, sometimes even after I let it go, people who continue to talk shit refuse to stop creating problems. They just keep going, yet so do I. I'm just not as destructive, I'm productive. There's a difference. Destructive people cause problems for others intentionally, while productive people work towards generating solutions to these ongoing problems. And those who generate solutions to problems don't have time to cause people problems, because they're critical thinkers who create solutions. They're not the problem, they're the solution. Not everybody has that. You want to be a bitch and a rodent? Go take a drama class, pussy, and see how far that gets you in life. Next scene, Beau's at home with his wife, and they've been through a lot, just experiencing some alone time now. Creepy English fellow is spotted taking snapshots of her, again, in the bushes, and she calls her husband. Creepy English fellow knows that he's caught now, so he's scared. He's starting to run off, but he makes sure before he leaves, he gets that one snapshot in before he leaves. And he knows that Beau's already seen him. Beau doesn't even bother chasing after him, but it's that same sort of look again, right before his stalker took a plunge off of a cliff. And that same sort of look that he was giving his doctor in anger management. You know this man is not the same person he once was. Beau says, all right, and he nods his head with a sort of smirk, just accepting that people like this don't care, they don't have any ethics or boundaries. And remember the look when you look at Beau at this point, because it's that look that says, don't fuck with him, but you chose to anyways. And I'm not so sure it's going to end well for these people. The next scene, Creepy English walks into this office where his stalker goons, who follow around talented people and cause them trouble, are getting together and meeting. He says something in his English accent, a bunch of gibberish that I can't even really understand. But I just deciphered these words, blah, 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 blah. So I slapped him with a bogus power of attorney because I did not have any choice. Because they're choosing to discuss something else dirty they did to somebody amongst the group of stalkers who all get together to cause people problems. And we're sad to see that Big Lebowski is no longer among the group, because people who stalk people are so great in society, right? And they're making such a positive impact in the world, and I definitely do not speak fluent sarcasm regarding this. There's a pivotal scene where Beau sees another write-up of his wife on a magazine, this time saying she's a drug-addicted wife, when in reality it was just Creepy English invading her personal space and disrupting her peace. And it was during a time where she was experiencing a difficult situation. But Creepy English got a snapshot, and they chose to publish it. This is a pivotal scene because I believe at this point, Beau was planning to take some sort of revenge action. I wouldn't recommend it personally if the law doesn't do their jobs, which 9 times out of 10, I'm sure the law doesn't do their jobs. You can potentially design a crocodile hunter app or something, I guess. I don't know. Some people believe in karma just naturally playing out when you do a lot of shady things to people and you refuse to leave them be. I believe in this case, though, Beau may take personal action. Let's see what happens. Beau is well aware now that he's being stalked on a regular basis by these people, and when he asked them to stop doing it, they refused. Nobody ever did anything to prevent it, right? So this time Beau drives by Creepy English, but he already knows he's being stalked by him, and this loser's following him around. He's a little more aware than usual. He passes by Creepy English parking out, and he's giving him that Beau Laramie, don't you dare stalk me, fucker, sort of snarl. And Creepy English is doing something on a walkie-talkie. And I'm sure he's very proud of himself for it too, but Beau knows he's watching him. Bo stops off in his movie trailer to make a personal phone call on his cell phone. He says to his agent, a prominent actress is stopping by for a meeting, but I think it was only just to say something to get the attention of Creepy English. Because Creepy English was most likely listening in on his personal calls. And that's confirmation now that it wasn't just a walkie-talkie, it was some sort of scanner so that Creepy English could listen in on Bo's calls. So I think Bo was just setting up a situation to see if Creepy English takes the bait since he won't stop stalking him. Creepy English shows up to plant a camera around his area because I guess Creepy English wanted to capture footage of Bo meeting up with this actress, because I guess that's the only way these guys can make their money. I mean, I disagree. You could do a lot of honest things to make money that don't involve hurting people or invading privacy or disrupting boundaries. You could, but you just choose not to, and that's the way these people are. But Bo is watching Creepy English from the other side. He knows he's doing something funny, and he was waiting for him to show up. And he's giving him that Bo Laramie snarl again. Bo's security guy is forbidding Creepy English to pass through, so Bo walks up to him. He says, "What's going on?" Security guy says, "We got an uninvited guest." Bo says to him, "I don't see anybody hurt or naked." "Are you sure you're in the right place, Leonard?" So Creepy English says to him, "Very funny, mate." And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta say regarding this specific character in the movie, Creepy English, you got an annoying ass voice, bitch. That's coming from me personally because this dude is just really irritating to me. And he doesn't know how to fuck off. Even when he's told to fuck off, he just keeps going. Though I did enjoy Bo's witty banter and sarcastic sense of humor regarding a scumbag who just chooses to disturb his peace and privacy. I mean, I hope Creepy English has a sister. Oh yeah, Bo is already married. I'm just joking, y'all. I fell off topic. Let's stick to the script, okay? So Bo says to his security guy, "Get rid of him." Security guy says, "You heard him." And he's shoving him out of the way. Creepy English gets all pissy about it and says, "Don't touch me. I'm leaving now." Now, Bo was following Creepy English on the road. I don't know what's going to happen, but ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I know, I said it. I'm excited. I want to see what happens to Creepy English next. So Bo makes a call from a different phone saying, "Hey, there's a Creepy English bitch boy waving a gun around inside of a station wagon. He's a little fucking bitch and a piece of shit. And this English fuck is not right inside of his head. Fuck you, you dirty English prick." That's the phone call he makes to alert people of the situation. And he's on Sunset Boulevard. And he's telling them, "You just got to get somebody down there." A cruiser approaches Creepy English and says, "Pull the vehicle over immediately." And Creepy English says, "Oh, bollocks, shiver me timbers." As if the fuzz was disturbing his diaper run or something. So this English piece of shit pulls his station wagon over. And he says, "Yeah, mate." He pulls the station wagon over. "Mate, and well, The fuzz approaches him. Creepy English gets out of his car and says, "Do you want to see a license, mate?" And then he reaches into his coat pocket and he's like, "What the hell is this?" He's pulling out a gun. Then 4 officers pump him full of lead and he goes down. Holy shit, that was crazy, dude. I'm not saying I would support this kind of behavior, but you know what? Creepy English should have never been going around stalking people in the first place. And if the fuzz knew all about Creepy English stalking people, the fuzz should have stopped Creepy English from stalking the talent, but for whatever reason, they didn't. So it's become so bad and so messed up that what looks like to me now is Bo planted a gun on Creepy English just due to the fact that Creepy English was going around stalking him and destroying his life. And he's causing him all sorts of problems, and he's not letting him be. He's not leaving him alone. I don't at all agree with framing somebody, but it's pretty fucking stupid that Creepy English was just doing what he does. Now Creepy English has paid the piper due to his crimes. I don't agree with this type of frame a criminal to get even type tactic, but it's what happened, whether you want to call it a fated event, whether you want to call it revenge for Creepy English being a criminal, or whether you call it karma for Creepy English invading a man's personal space and privacy. Or you can call it justice, I guess, for all the times people who should have stopped bothering Bo. Creepy English was always there to show up. And people who knew about it just allowed it to happen. They chose not to do anything. It's ridiculous that it went that far and came down to this. However, I'm not even going to say I am fond of the situation, despite how overly excited I was. Telling my viewers earlier on the podcast, we couldn't stress enough the excitement we had regarding this so-called fated event, right? Because stalking people is cool and fun, and I definitely don't speak fluent sarcasm. Nothing good came out of this, unfortunately for Creepy English. The trap he set for the talent became the trap for the stalker himself. And for better or worse, I guess you can say that is symbolic. Let's move on. So Bull rolls out and drives by like a Freddie Mercury pulling an emergency exit routine. Underlay, underlay! Nothing to see here, Mr. Garrison. Next scene, we have the beautiful 1980s typewriter salesman watching television from his lovely boathouse. Since with all that money you got from committing crimes, from bothering people and breaking the law, you earned yourself a lovely sailboat to live in. We can thank our local realty team and call it a night, but Creepy Typewriter does not look happy. Now he's not that giddy typewriter anymore. Now his facial expression is just not that happy and gay typewriter that he always is. He doesn't look as happy and gay today. Now it's just concerned typewriter, regretful typewriter, scared typewriter. Not because he regrets his actions due to hurting people, not because he's concerned about anything he ever did, and not that he sees anything he does as doing wrong, but only because he's scared of the very questionable things that he's done may lead back to this exact point, leading back to him. It's now actually starting to come back on him. And you know, ladies and gentlemen, we don't know why he did it. We know he probably needs a therapist, right? We know sometimes Creepy Typewriter's giddy. Sometimes Creepy Typewriter is happy. Sometimes Creepy Typewriter is singing a love song for Bobby Long. And we might say he's one hell of a music enthusiast, right? But he's always a barrel of emotions, isn't he, ladies and gentlemen? And those emotions change frequently, judging by his facial expressions and the things that he says. And I'll tell you what, y'all, you can take that to the bakery. Let's see what happens next, Skipper. So the news reporter discussing the ending of Creepy English mentions the gun he pulled out was one you frequently see used in motion picture industries. Creepy Typewriter ain't so giddy right now, is he? No. Creepy Typewriter is like, fuck, what have I done to cause all this? It's totally out of control and it was all me, but I just can't stop talking about it on the camera. I mean, not on the camera, you know what I mean. And he's like, I did it. So Creepy Typewriter makes a phone call to his butt buddy. Since now 2 out of the 4 talent stalkers are declared officially dead, save the death certificate for whoever chooses to identify them at this point. And the remaining Piroshki boys can at least show up at this lovely piece of real estate where dreams come true, according to Big Gay Al. And they're discussing a situation on this beautiful piece of real estate paid for by committing crimes against the talent. So they discuss this being under investigation. His buddy says to him, you know he's coming for us next, right? Creepy Typewriter says, yeah, but if the fuzz doesn't go after him, we can. And he pulls out this case of little cameras because he's basically telling his buddy, we're going to set up cameras inside of his home so that we can continually keep tabs on everything he's doing. Well, how diddly dee their neighbor. I mean, they're going to set up cameras in his home. That sounds lovely, everybody. That sounds like perfectly normal behavior to me. And you know what? I want to hear a music recommendation. I'm feeling it. I'm giddy, I'm happy. We got this beautiful piece of boating real estate paid for by committing crimes against the talent. And we're feeling bi-curious and spontaneous, right? I love it. Let's keep the podcast going. Now, in this particular scene, them Pierogi boys are inside Bo Laramie's home, setting up little cameras. I'm excited, y'all. It's lovely. I'm excited. They just don't feel like they've done anything wrong. Are you guys excited for it too? Because I'm excited, This podcast movie review is something to die for. I'm excited about it, y'all. It's very sexy. Let's keep it going. So Bo's wife walks in the house while them Pierogi boys are setting things up still. The plan goes south. Who would have thought? They don't have their cake and get to eat it too. Notices that when Bo's wife comes home, when they're trying to set up cameras, he needs to take quick action. So he gets on top of her, looking like a scrub, like potentially not smelling so good, looking somewhat unkempt, because anybody who chooses to do this sort of thing must not have good personal hygiene, right? That would be my assumption. I'm not really sure because I don't call myself like a personal hygienist, but I see nothing wrong with taking showers as long as you have a comfortable private sanctuary where you can take the shower and enjoy it. Anyways, creepy scrub is on Bo's wife. Even creepy typewriter says, "What are you doing?" Because I guess even though creepy typewriter has no problem doing all this, he feels like there are some things he just wouldn't do. So when the scrub gets on top of Bo's wife, now he feels like they've crossed a line. Wow. Whatever, you creepy motherfuckers. You're weird as fuck and crazy as hell. Choke on the pierogi. And if science spares you, we won't pre-plan what it will say on your obituaries, okay? Because let me know if you guys have like a lyric or something for it. I don't know. Let me know if it makes you giddy, my pretties. That's for the ladies though, okay? Nothing against men, I just wouldn't flirt with them. Bo gets home and they run before he gets the chance to confront them. His wife is laying on the floor. He comforts her. He knows now he needs to make the call, so he's got a couple officials who agreed to stand guard outside of his house. They said, "Don't worry, Bo. We're going to walk the perimeter." And he says, "Thanks, guy. It's good. It's good Bo has officials looking out for him, willing to stand guard outside of his house. We are thankful for this." Now this movie goes back to the remaining 2 stalkers out of the 4, since the other 2 are dead, discussing the situation inside of this beautiful piece of real estate, bought and paid for by committing crimes against the talent. So the unkept-looking gentleman takes a swig from this big bottle of whiskey. Never mind a glass when you're a stalker, right? Because I guess stalkers are just reckless. And he's looking at these pictures that creepy typewriter has hung inside of his beautiful boathouse from all that stalking they have done when they were taking pictures of the people they choose to bother. Says to him, "Why don't we just call the authorities?" And creepy typewriter says to shower boy, "And what will we tell them? That we broke into his house, we attacked his wife, and now we would like protection?" You're a moron, shower boy. You're an absolute moron. He says it in a fit of rage, screaming at him. Well, damn, y'all. Damn. Somebody pour your refrigerated tea. Because the behavioral patterns of these Pierogi boys who've been stalking people, totally off the charts from a scientific hypothesis. Now fling your pizzas across the room, throw a fit, and scream. Clearly the Pierogi boys must be victims, right? Because if they were stalking, harassing, and disturbing the peace of the talent on a regular basis, they need sympathy, especially after they set up cameras inside of his home. And disregard the B&E because they're the Pierogi boys. Who's going to help them out? I don't know. Perhaps I'll ride my magical carpet to Burger King or something. Let me know how you rock. Creepy typewriter screams at shower boy, who is legally married to a bottle of whiskey, saying, "Go home. Check your monitors to see if Bo Laramie has found the cameras. I gotta think things through now." Damn, that's one concerned boathouse owner if I've ever seen one. And you can't even get this movie on Netflix at the moment, y'all. I rented it straight from YouTube. How about that shit? Shout out to YouTube Movies, by the way, for hosting this awesome film, Paparazzi, because when I tried to get it from anywhere like Prime Video or Netflix, Tubi, Plex, it wasn't on any of those. If you guys are interested in seeing it, though, you can rent it from YouTube for a pretty decent price. It's not expensive. The next scene, a pizza man rolls up to Bo Laramie's house. Officials say, "Let's see some identification." And they shine the flashlight on the pizza man. The pizza delivery guy says to them, "Well, do I look like a terrorist to you?" And by the way, dude who plays the pizza delivery guy in this one is a well-known comedian. I went to one of his stand-up shows once, and one of the funniest jokes I've ever heard by him was this: "Next time a woman fucks me, just let me know that she's fucking me so that when I pay for it, I can actually get laid." He said something along those lines, and I thought it was a legendary joke. It stuck with me, and I never forgot it. Anyways, he says, "You're always messing with the black man. They're always messing with me. They're always messing with me." And the official says to him, "What did you say?" He says, "I said 30 minutes or it's free." The official says, "All right, move on." And he says, "The money better all be there or else it's your ass." Then he rolls up in his pizza delivery car. He's rocking some sort of hip-hop song. I don't know what the tune is, but I kind of like it. It reminded me of something I recently saw on a write-up about a bunch of artists recently releasing new albums. And I'll tell you what, it featured 10 well-known artists. I knew pretty much every one of them, but despite knowing who they are, I really wasn't interested in anything any of them were doing other than the last artist on the set. The last artist being featured was Trick Daddy, and that just seemed more interesting to me than the other 9 being featured. But I find it interesting that you chose to feature Trick Daddy last. Trick Daddy, to me, might even be the best artist out of the other 9, but the people who featured it chose to feature Trick Daddy last on that list. I don't know, I want to stay on the subject of the movie, but that's just reminded me of that whole thing. The pizza delivery guy's song just reminded me of that, and I remembered the people who were discussing other artists just doing what they do, and I felt like, to me, it was doing a write-up or featuring things just because that's what they feel they should do or they're being told to do it. I don't know. I guess if it was me holding that title, I would have somewhat of a better idea of what is good, what deserves the most promotion, and what is just meh. It's there, so we got to discuss it. But I could just do without it if I had the option to. It is what it is, though. It sometimes takes a person like with a music background to really understand what should be heard, what is good, what deserves the most promotion, and what is just whatever. I don't know. If you know some people who got you that job or something, or maybe it's something you have on paper looks good, it said you deserve the job, whatever. Check out Trick Daddy's new stuff. I don't care about the 9 others. Let's get back to the movie. Pizza delivery guy takes out the pizzas, and Bo's already waiting for him. He says, "What's going on, man?" Pizza delivery guy's like, "Oh, wow, you're Bo, right?" And he's getting starstruck. Bo says, "What do I owe you for the pizzas?" Pizza delivery guy says, "You don't owe me anything, man. Just send me one of those bad white bitches and we're good." "Hey, I'm not famous, but this has never happened to me before. Can you send me some bitches too? White or black, I don't care. I'm not very well liked, but it's not important. This is not a dating service, okay? It's a platform for creators." So he says, "Here's $60. Put one pizza inside and give the other one to the officials waiting outside, all right?" And the pizza delivery guy is just getting ready to leave. The camera flashes to some California plates, but Bo is inside of the trunk of the car with the trunk slightly open. Somebody send the pizza man an urgent text because his trunk's open, y'all, but something tells me this is something else, all right? Bo is up to something here, and Bo is plotting something. So fast forward to the pizza man leaving. Bo pops out and runs towards a car covered up with a tarp. Bo pulls off the tarp. It's a sick ride, my guy. Where did you get that car from? Labrador or something? Because I'm sure you have all the receipts, Slick. Let's continue. Next scene, shower boy comes home. No bottle of whiskey in hand this time. And he's greeted by Bo personally. And Bo calls out to him. He says, "Hey, Wendell." And he says, "Huh? What the hell are you doing here?" And Bo's standing in the room with that cold gaze in his eye, baseball bat in hand, and he smiles at him. It's adorable, isn't it, y'all? I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. Somebody alert my viewers because I got a lyrical quote for a song regarding this. Now, all I'm going to say is when Bo walked into Wendell's place, he had what looked to me like some sort of sound module. And I said originally, okay, cool, that's interesting. He's into some music production or something. Then I realized he's running a so-called photography business. And everything going on inside that place is just creepy as fuck. I don't like it, but riddle me this, ladies and gentlemen. If guys like Wendell exist out there, and I highly believe that they do you think authorities would be aware of people such as Wendell stalking and harassing people? And how would they use that position to bring judgment upon guys like Wendell? Because you would think that they would have to keep guys like Wendell from stalking people and causing unnecessary burdens in their lives. Or would the very burden itself be that authorities know all about it and they just chose to do nothing? That truly is a double for your trouble situation, right? Because now you have a guy with a baseball bat standing there, and he's got that cold gaze in his eyes. And he's smiling at Wendell, but not the type of smile I would recommend. And I'll tell you what, do not commit crimes, do not hurt people. But if guys like Wendell are allowed to do what they do, it's certainly problematic to say the least, and it's not making the world a better place. If authorities gave people like Wendell the green light to get away with it, no wonder Bo showed up there with a bat, but I'm not saying it's okay to commit a crime. I can't say I'd do the same, since violence is not my way, but I'm not giddy about this at all. Like, it's not exciting to me. I don't have any lyrical recommendations for my fans. It's just the way shit is, and it's weird, but nobody kept Wendell in line, did they? Not even that bottle of whiskey. Fast forward to the next scene. Bo is coming back home. He's going to be quick about it, so he parks his car in a different spot and runs back to his house. An investigator rolls up to the lovely gentleman who agreed to stand guard outside of his home. Thank God for that, right? The investigator says to the men standing guard, "Thank you, fellas. Here's some hot coffees for you and a dozen donuts to start off your day." And he smiles at him. They seem very pleased by this kind gesture. The guardian who stood guard outside of Bo's house smiles like he's never had it so good. And if he had his way, ladies and gentlemen, they could just always pay him in coffee and donuts, even going as far as to take his account right off of payroll. Let me know how you rock. Bo knows he's got to move quickly now, so he's running through the yard, the sprinklers going off. Don't tell the lawnmower man. We don't want to scare the lovely gardener. Bo pulls a Mission Impossible like freshly coming out of an elevator. He runs back inside to answer the phone, and he says, "Hello, sir." Investigator says, "How did you know it was me?" He says, "Oh, I can see your car. I'll just let you in." He's all sweaty from just running through the yard, so he throws on a spiritual bathrobe, disregarding the lawnmower man and gardener while approaching the investigator in his spiritual bathrobe. Absolutely beautiful. An investigator says, "Were my guys who stood guard outside your house good?" Bo says, "Oh yeah, they were great." And he says, "Oh, I'm glad to hear it. Listen, Bo, I got something I'd like you to take a look at." So they go inside for a little friendly convo. He plays a DVD of some surveillance footage. And he says Leonard had a hidden camera when he rolled up on the set. Bo says, "Well, why are we watching this?" The investigator says, "Oh, just be patient. The best part is coming at the end." Do you guys want a snack? I don't know. Do you need like a little refrigerator pocket or something, my lovelies, to conceal your peace? And I spell it Peace, peace. Not peace like a weapon or anything like that, but they're watching the footage anyways. It shows Bo coming up to Leonard to confront him. When he told him that one joke about Leonard not being present whenever there were people in trouble or naked, I still liked the joke and it stayed with me because it was witty, giddy, and pretty. He says, check out that jacket. Something about the jacket has been bothering me. And evidently, ladies and gentlemen, this was not a little refrigerator pocket to conceal his peace, spelled Peace, because it was a surveillance video. But when he pulled up the video, he did a comparison of the specific jacket facing one way and then facing the other way. There's a jacket hung inside of the car, turned facing frontwards in the one shot, and a jacket hanging inside of the car facing backwards in the other shot. Interesting, considering he didn't have a little refrigerator pocket to conceal his Peace, and there was no blue hair dye or anything, y'all. It was just some surveillance footage showing two different things and telling two different stories. Bo says, and? Investigator was excited, but damn. All refrigerator pockets aside, if somebody planted a gun, you cannot really say that, they concealed their peace, right, my lovelies? Blue hair or not. This time I'm not going to say Peace. I'm just going to say the word peace, like Piece, since you know that guns are weapons and can potentially hurt people, even though in Leonard's case, he didn't use the gun at all. The minute he pulled out his gun from that little hypothetical refrigerator pocket, sisters, to conceal his peace from the traveling pants, my sisters, evidently Leonard met his demise, and it's really tragic. I mean, like, oh, that's so cute. He's struggling, sisters. He's struggling, my sisters, and it's like needing help and everything. That's sweet. The investigator says, excuse me, while his phone is ringing and he pulls it out of his non-refrigerator based concealing pocket. Just a regular pocket to rock a regular phone like regular people do. He answers it and Bo looks very concerned, judging by the look on his face. Did you get stressed out about it, Bo? Don't worry, man. I'm on your side in this particular situation. Keep the spiritual bathrobe on because it suits you very well. And if Ted was not already aware, my sisters, can we just alert Ted for a later talk to alert Ted of the situation and talk it out? Okay, let's keep going. Investigator storms out quickly. Bo says, oh, you don't want this? Referring to the DVD. He says, keep it. We got the original. Well, snap, snippity snap, Teddy boy. On another note, creepy typewriter was chilling in his crib, which, might I add, is a beautiful piece of real estate, bought and paid for by stalking the talent. And creepy typewriter notices two officials coming up to his lovely boathouse. So creepy typewriter, he ducks, and he's crouching down, he's looking left, he's looking right, then he shimmies on out of the boat like some sort of a slithering snake. Magical! Making a quick escape. Can't say he's rocking the boat, right? Not even time to quote himself a lyric, so he slithers out, but worry not, my sweets. You're protected. In the next scene, creepy typewriter goes into Bo's house and fires off some rounds onto his bed. I guess he's reached the point now of feeling like he had nothing left to lose due to the crimes he's already committed against Bo as well as potentially other people. So he fires off those rounds, probably assuming that he took Bo out. But then as he's crouching down and he's looking left, he's looking right, and his speech pattern suddenly speeds up in a state of nervousness. I'm excited. I'm excited. My speech pattern. What's going on, bro? And Bo comes out of nowhere and punches creepy typewriter in the face. Holy shit, my guy. It's like running face first into a moon. Like kissing the moon or being smacked by moons. That's wild, bro. I noticed like you wore a styling jacket to the occasion, but something tells me no matter how nice the attire in this particular situation, you know you fucked up, don't you, creepy typewriter? Where's my hair gel? Can I get some hair gel? Where did I get my jacket from? Do you guys like my new suit? Oh yeah, I just literally got punched in the face by a moon. That was Bo. He punched me in the face because I tried to take him out. And Creepy Typewriter is unpredictable and desperate now, so we need to be always assessing his behavioral patterns, okay? Just due to his crimes. And Bo says, "Hurry, Mr. Investigator Man, he's here," after he gets the call. Then he plays it cool, and he hovers over Creepy Typewriter since he just beat him up after Creepy Typewriter fired 2 rounds at him, assuming that he killed him. He says, "Oh, this worked out so well, Creepy Typewriter, that it feels like I couldn't have written it any better. It's just a shame that I won't get to tell anybody. But I can tell you, right, Mr. Typewriter? I feel like I can share anything with you." And shit. Bo's got that crazed look in his eye, and there's no sailboat. There's no lyric. I can tell Bo and his skipper are both not feeling lonely at this point. They're content with each other's company. The skipper lays on the ground while Bo points the weapon at him, and Mr. Investigator Man walks into the room. He says, "Come on now, Bo, give me the gun." Bo says, "I'm glad that you're here, Mr. Investigator Man. I'm your skipper, and somebody get out the kipper." Hey, that rhymes. I wasn't even being intentional with my rhymes. I guess it just goes along with the territory of being a lyricist and rapper sometimes. Sometimes I'm lyrical, sometimes I'm poetic, sometimes I'm instrumental, sometimes I just like to talk, like doing this podcast. In this case, we're rocking a movie review, a reaction, whatever you want to call it. It's a damn good flick. The skipper says to Bo as he stands by his woman. You can see the skipper being hauled off in handcuffs. He says to Bo, "I'll be out in a week." And Mr. Investigator Man says to the lovely skipper, "In a week, you're going to be somebody's wife." Damn, ladies and gentlemen, that's humiliating. To call another man's wife, that's like taking away his man card, right? Because you're saying he's not even a man, like he's somebody's wife. Oh, skipper. I'm not so lonely when I see you get hauled off in cuffs, skipper. As Mr. Investigator Man hauls you off to jail, my mystery man of many, many different expressions and moods. It must be love, right? For the criminal to meet the cuffs and for the cell to meet the criminal. Because you're guilty, and congratulations on your new lovely wife. May those bars become one with our lovely skipper. And it's a mutual love between the two. The skipper loves his bars and the bars love the skipper. As Mr. Investigator Man gets ready to leave Bo's property, he gives him this look of approval, like he's glad to bring justice and protection towards Bo for being criminally stalked, harassed, and targeted. And the way the movie ends out is Bo's with his wife and kid while attending a movie premiere. He kisses his wife's belly, who is pregnant, and says to her, "You look beautiful." Well, how about that, ladies and gentlemen? A mutual love between a man and a woman who are both attracted to each other. That's not even a disco that you could buy. I'm sure Bo is also stoked about having a second child. Fathers are truly lucky to experience kids in their lives, and they're lucky to have supportive women who love them and support them and are there for them. For those who choose to find it or seek it out. And that's a sweet, sweet song our skipper friend can sing behind bars, which would last a lifetime. Bo is hit in the premiere, and as they open up the door, his fans are all cheering for him. People are taking pictures. One of the paparazzi says to him, "You packing on a few extra pounds there, Laramie?" And Bo comes in a little bit closer to him. He smiles and says, "As a matter of fact, I am. It looks good on me, doesn't it?" And the paparazzi smiles at him. He points his finger. He shoots another capture. Bo smiles back with his finger pointing back at the paparazzi, and the movie ends. Well, that was a pretty badass flick. It was an interesting movie to watch, and I enjoyed doing this reactional. Let me know if you guys like it. Until next time, Brain44 signing out, and we thank all the skippers who were present during this presentation. If they are unfortunately no longer with us, or they're just doing time behind bars or something, may their boathouses be donated to charity. I'll just give a moment of silence for that charity donation for that boathouse. I respect it. Have a good one, y'all.